Hello, my lovelies, and we are back for another AHOF video. Really quickly, for this week's AHOF video, I kind of want to watch something Halloween related since it is spooky week. Now I failed to do spooky week like I wanted to. You guys are gonna get a bit more videos in that theme. Doesn't look like I'm gonna be able to do that, so you probably just get Halloween day. You'll get all the spookiness. Anyways, but I want to do an AHOP video, but I don't know if they've done anything scary. If they have, please let me know down in the comments below. I will check it out. But yes, so today, we're gonna be checking out the concept film. I believe it's called Our Path. Okay, so this is a mood film for the up and coming comeback and album. I believe the title track is called Pinocchio, or am I tripping? I can't remember. I really should have spoke to Smiles before I did this, but I didn't. And seeing if I was correct. Okay, so you guys know that I don't typically do spoilers in this way, because it's not that this is a spoiler, but I don't typically watch like concept film videos or highlights, because I like to go into these albums and comebacks fully freaking blind. But a couple of you guys have been highly requested me to check it out because I think you guys want to see what my interpretation of it is. So yeah, I'm just gonna go fully in. That being said, I know nothing really of the album except for seeing photos. My timeline gets attacked with these photos, and I think they just released like their third set for the concept photos, I think, and I was just like, what the fuck? I have saved some photos, of course. I think I showed you guys that in the last video, but I've saved some since then. So yeah, we're just gonna get into this. What was it called again? Passage? No, our Passage, the mood film, Our Path. Y'all, this brain don't work. I know y'all miss my chaotic ass self. Anyways, so really off rip, it looks like he's controlling something. It looks like sound. Are they on a film set? Because Shivo looks like he's just like moving like the sound, like technical. And then is that Han? I can't tell. He looks like he's like moving equipment. Anyways, we're gonna get into this. I have no idea what to expect. There is no subs, so let's just get into it. It's a short video anyways. It's 2 minutes. Go ahead and like it. Now let's go. Oh, that's right, it was fun. Oh, come on, play. I love this haircut on Steven. What the hell? The spinning. Oh, no. Hmm? Growing. I can't read that shit. They purposely crumpled the shit out of that paper on purpose. Who are these grown-ass men? Damn it. Did it try to show me there again? Oh, they blur it out for a reason. Yeah. That's what I thought. Also, seriously, who are these grown-ass men? Because they were like grown. That's a grown-ass man. We're gonna... Not that some of these people aren't, some of our boys aren't grown, but you know what I mean? Like, They had to kill me with the visual in the eye. Let's get to their symbol. Okay. My collective thoughts. I'm trying to collect them, but it's all jumbled up here. Y'all know, like I said, I have not watched anything. I didn't read a description for the album. Nothing. Just the photos. That's all I've seen. But that's how I usually like to go into this, and I interpret them in my own way. Given that it's called The Passage, and there are moments of, let me not put the sound, but let me go back. At the very beginning, right? So we all have to go. Okay. So one, it's called The Passage, so the rite of passage, right? So we all have to go through our like finding ourselves stages, that fumbly bumbly, don't know what the hell you're doing, and sometimes it takes people forever. And even as an adult, you can't sometimes know what you're doing or how you should react to something, or you feel the need that you think you should act a certain way because you were an adult. But even adults still don't know. You have to find, I think with adulthood, you find confidence into just being like, I am who I am, fuck what everybody else thinks. But it takes that mentality and that growth and that rite of passage to get to that level. And kind of having like believing in yourself. But we all have, it's giving, there's moments of this that's giving dark. And so I'm wondering if either the title track is going to be this way, or maybe just the album in a whole set the mood. Obviously it's a mood film, so it's a concept of the mood of the album. If it's going to go from a dark to a more like liberating, free ending to the album. So we'll start with a darker theme to, or a more intense, not necessarily darker, but a more intense, more emotional, raw lyrics and melody to like a more freeing and open and not, I don't want to say happy, but just like more content and free feeling, right? Is what it's giving. The moments of, where they're on a stage, so like the stage of life is what I would think, right? And you're thinking, okay, I have to be this way, I have to act this way, I have to be this, just more I'm trying to think of the word. You're more hard on yourself in a way. And you can see that like the lights are set on them, right? And then there's that moment of here where he's just kind of going through the moment. But this particular moment for Daisuke, and I would say Juan. So here I feel like he's obviously getting that peer pressure, and that like I could say like I would feel like he's getting that peer pressure and that need to like want to be accepted or think I have to be a certain way, right, from everyone else. And so then he kind of looks away, where it looks like maybe Steven's not in that passage but sees something and doesn't necessarily know if he should kind of help out. And then the same thing with Juan here, when he falls and slips and he's kind of being hard on himself, and he kind of like breathing hard and kind of having an anxiety, that look of like the shutting of the lights here just kind of makes me think that maybe like, when how we feel when we do that, like when something happens, when we mess up, when we fumble on something that we really want, we could tend to like be harder on ourselves. Not necessarily just in that move, but just in general for anything work. I feel like you are your worst enemy, because sometimes you see yourself in a certain light where other people don't see you that way. And so that feeling of like sadness and like almost depression, but feeling of like you need to be by yourself, you need to be locked away. It kind of giving that in this one. Obviously we see more intense moment here, with him putting the shirt down. That could be like a buildup of emotions, and the concern in Han's face when JL, like, and he's like, what the hell? But you don't know if you can bring it out. And then I want to know what Woongi's script says. If anybody knows, if anybody captured a good moment of it to see what that script said. I feel like it's almost like you're playing a part, which would make sense given that this is a stage, right? You're playing a part. This is just my interpretation of it. It could be also being like, if we really want to get meta and like really into it, like how these idols play a part. You know what I mean? They have, yes, we see moments of raw of them being themselves as much as they can be, but they are still, this is their job. You know what I mean? They're still on a stage. They still have those anxieties and those pressures, that we can't fathom because we're not in the industry. You know what I mean? So it could be that as well. But Passage, I feel like it can tie into like that youthful kind of, that rite of passage from going to those insecurities to finally breaking free out of those and really learning more about yourself as you get older. And so that's what I think this might be, like this concept. And I think this moment here where, they kind of stand up and they're starting to realize like they're standing up for themselves. And then that's that moment where it frees up. And it gets like the brighter and the sparkles, and you see them smile more, and then the light brightness comes up, and then they're running towards that light. That could be something that they're going for. But it also could be like their feelings before pre-debut. Some of the boys had been not have had success before and have been doing this for a while, and that feeling, that's why I said it could be also tied to their idol, like time life, if that makes sense. And then finally debuting, finally getting they're getting more and more recognition as they get more established, and finally feeling a little bit more at ease in certain ways, but obviously still having some pressures, but feeling at ease. So there's two different ways I feel like I can interpret it, but that's just me. I can ramble on all day about this, and if it'd be easier obviously if I had Shy with me, or if we had like y'all's interpretation. You guys can let me know down in the comments, and then I can talk about it again once we get closer to the comeback on the 4th. But yeah, like that's just my interpretation of what I think it could possibly mean. But I'm very intrigued. I'm very excited to see what we're gonna get. You guys know I've been adoring them, not only personality wise, but like music wise. Fucking vocals, man. not even just that, like the whole package of the dancing, everything. Y'all know, y'all seen me geek the fuck out or like simp. And so I'm very curious to see what this is gonna sound like. I'm curious if it's gonna be like, with our debut we had a darker tone song, not necessarily that it was a dark song, but it just had a darker tone to it compared to what has been going out, right? And then we had at the end, there was like more vibrant and like uplifting beat. And so I'm wondering if this album is going to go along with that as well. Like I said, where it's going to get that title track, it's going to be maybe a darker message or a more grittier message, more raw message, and then go to a lovely like lighter moment, or if we're just going to get like a roller coaster of emotions in this. Very curious to see what they're going to give us. But I can probably say without a doubt, like I'm probably going to love it regardless. Just because I've loved everything I've heard so far, and I don't fathom really them disappointing me like at all, or me being like, that wasn't my favorite. Like I just don't see it. Sometimes you can envision yourself like listening to something and you're like, oh, I'm ready, I'm psyched. Yeah, I just don't see myself being disappointed. I highly doubt it. But yeah, that's gonna be it for my reaction to their mood film for their up and coming album. You guys let me know if you guys understood anything I was babbling about, if you get what I was trying to say. Sometimes like I don't know English, you know what I'm saying? Like words are, what's words? But then if you guys get my what I was trying to say, or if you agree, or if obviously you guys, some of you guys are like fully dipped in wanting to know every single little piece, and I'm more of a like, oh, dive right in kind of person, right? Sometimes I like to like read and get to know, or sometimes I like to dive right in, fall in love passionately, and then go back and consume as much as I possibly can. That's more my style. I go through roller coasters, and when I do these albums. Oh, and just not just albums, but like MVs and that kind of thing. Let me know if my theory even hit close to home, or if you're like, what the hell is she talking about? Let's not be negative though. Like I'm not arguing with anybody. Like it's my interpretation, it's my thought process, but we all have our different opinions. We got to be nice to each other though. But anyways, that's gonna be it for my reaction. You guys let me know your thoughts and what you're thinking. Are you excited for the album? Do you think it's gonna be a darker song? Do you think it's gonna be more poppy? Do you think it's gonna be a ballad? I mean, I don't get poppy from this, but they could surprise us. Do you think it's gonna be more like R&B-ish? I don't think so either, but we shall see. You never know. That you can get one look and concept and think one thing, and then get a video and you're like, what the fuck? That was nowhere near what I thought we were gonna get. And then let me know if they've done like a horror themed or a Halloween themed concept. I would love to do that. If not, then you guys will be getting the first episode of, I think, of, what was it called? AHOF. I think we're gonna get into that one, or I might do the M2 reaction. If I do that one though, that might be a weekend drop, because that's pretty long. That's an hour, and I don't have that ample time during the week to do that. But y'all are getting something regardless. Anyways, that's gonna be it. You guys let me know your comments and your thoughts down below. I will see you guys in the next one. I hope you guys are having a good morning, a good day, and a good night, depending on when you're watching. Bye.